Bum, 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 bum. Retail Apocalypse 2016 brings empty shelves and store closings all across America. But we got 5.0 unemployment. Still 50 million people on food stamps somehow, which is a record, but we somehow got just 5% unemployment. Man, we are that deal. We are America, man. That's why they call us America. Whole world's experiencing job losses. Psh, not us. Well, if you believe the official reports and news and numbers, then that's the case. But if you're a realist like me, you know better. Submitted by Michael Snyder via the End of the American Dream blog. And isn't it amazing that a website like his, the End of the American Dream blog, I'm not reading that site. Who does he think he's talking about America? The end of the American dream. I'm not even going to read that, what he's posting. I don't believe in it. No, you better believe in it and you better read it, because there's some very useful information. And just like Zero Hedge and Silver Doctors and numerous other sites, there's plenty of news there practically every day. New news. It's not the same thing being regurgitated. It is what it is. This is the world we live in right now. This is just how it's going. Major retailers in the U.S. are shutting down hundreds of stores, and shoppers are reporting alarmingly bare shelves in many retail locations that are still open all over the country. It appears that the retail apocalypse that made so many headlines in 2015 has gone to an entirely new level as we enter 2016. Well, that's funny. The markets across the world also entered a new level as we entered 2016, and it wasn't looking pretty. As economic activity slows down and internet retailers capture more of the market, brick-and-mortar retailers are cutting their losses. This is especially true in areas that are on the lower portion of the income scale. In impoverished urban centers all over the nation, it is not uncommon to find entire malls that have now been completely abandoned. It has been estimated that there is about 1 billion square feet. Couldn't hold that one in. Estimated that there's about 1 billion square feet of retail space sitting empty in this country. And the crisis is only going to get worse as the retail apocalypse accelerates. So you do have two issues here. We have one thing he mentioned, internet retailers capturing more of the market. But I do have to ask, are there a whole bunch of new internet retailers that you know about springing up left and right? Or is it kind of the same old ones? Honestly, and I do shop online, and my wife is an expert online shopper. Just ask Amazon. I'm going to venture and say there's not a whole bunch of new ones coming online and stealing the retail market. No, it's the same big, Amazons and eBays and whatever. So that's one thing, but then you have the other thing of, well, why would it only be such a drastic difference in impoverished urban centers, low-income areas? Because they ain't got no money. They used to have some money, but they ain't got no money now. So they can't afford to go to the local store and buy stuff. Doesn't automatically mean that the lower class people are, I'm not going there anymore to shop, I'm going to go online only all of a sudden. No. Because if that was the case, it would show stats that say all of us, low class, lower class, middle class, upper middle class, wealthy, filthy rich, would be experiencing the same thing. And that's not exactly the case. So we have a problem. And it's called terrible economic conditions. Okay? That's the summary of this whole video. So it's only going to get worse as the retail apocalypse accelerates. We always get a wave of store closings after the holiday shopping season, but this year has been particularly active. The following are just a few of the big retailers that have already made major announcements. Walmart. Let me say that again. You probably weren't expecting that name. Walmart is closing 269 stores, including 154 inside the United States alone. Kmart closing down more than 24 stores over the next several months. And here's I hate this, I don't want to be rude or mean, but when I saw this name, and there's another one that needs to be mentioned that I'm not seeing in here, so I'm going to go ahead and mention it also, but JCPenney's Walking Dead Man is what came, as soon as I saw that, the Walking Dead Man. And that's a shame that I have to say that, because I remember going there as a kid with my parents. JCPenney, we'll go buy some clothes. Oh, okay. But the other one I was going to add, Sears. Sears is not going to be doing too well. JCPenney will be permanently closing 47 more stores after closing a total of 40 in 2015. Macy's has decided that it needs to shutter 36 stores and lay off approximately 2,500 employees. The Gap is in process of closing 175 in North America. Aeropostale is in the process of closing 84 stores across America. Finish Line, the old sneaker store, has announced that 150 stores will be shutting down over the next few years. Ooh. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed it. Sears is here. Sorry about that. Sears has shut down about 600 stores over the past year or so. But sales at the stores that remain open continue to fall precipitously. Like a perpetual machine, right? But the store closings are only part of the story. All over the country, shoppers are noticing bare shelves and alarmingly low inventory levels. This is happening even at the largest and most prominent retailers. I want to share with you an excerpt from a recent article by Jeremiah Johnson. Jeremiah was a bullfrog until his store closed down. The anecdotes that he shares definitely set off alarm bells with me. Read them yourself and see what you think. I came across two excellent comments upon Steve Quayle's website that bear reading, as these are two people with the experience in retail marketing, inventory, ordering, and purchases. Take a look at these. Steve, regarding the alerts about the current state of the RR industry, this is in line with what I've been noticing as I visited our local regional grocery store, Walmart, and Target this week in, I guess that's, was that Wisconsin? I worked in a big box retail for 20 years, specializing in inventory management. These stores are all using computerized inventory management systems that monitor and automatically replenish inventory when levels or shelf stock get low. This prevents out of stocks and lost sales. These companies rely on the ability to replenish inventory quickly from regional warehouses. As I shopped this week and looked at inventory levels, I was shocked. There were numerous above and beyond acceptable levels out of stocks across category lines at all three retailers. And even where inventory was on the shelf, the overall levels were noticeably reduced. Based on my experience working for two of these three organizations in store management, they have drastically / intentionally reduced their inventory levels. This is either due to financial stress / poor sales affecting their ability to acquire new inventory, or it could be the result of what was mentioned earlier regarding the transporting of goods to these regional warehouses. Either way, this doesn't bode well for what's to come. Stock up now while you can. I was just listening to Cliff High's, what is it? What was it? I don't know. Was it an immediacy data report or the? Well, I can't think of the title of it. But it was, I think, posted January 29th, and it's around 45 minutes long, I think. And it's funny because he was talking about something similar from his Webbot report, saying, you know, like, stock up on stuff. You may want to do it now. He was kind of reiterating that. So that's interesting. And it says, from a commenter following up number 1 who didn't provide a name, I'd like to tailgate on the SQ alert based on my experience regarding stock levels in big box stores. This weekend we went to 2 such stores, each in fairly isolated communities, which are easily the community's best source for acquiring grocery items in quantity. I myself worked in retail meat, he says, for 30 years, so I know exactly what a well-stocked store looks like. Understand the key categories and category drivers and how shelves are stocked and displays are built to drive sales and profits. I also understand supply chain and distribution methodologies quite well. Each of the stores we were in woefully understocked. This time of year, the few weeks following the holidays, is usually big business in groceries, and low stock levels suggest either poor ordering at the store level, poor purchasing at the distribution level, or a purposeful desire to be understocked. Anyone familiar with the retail grocery industry is also familiar with highly touted the big box stores infrastructure. With how highly touted the big box stores infrastructure is. They know exactly what demand or when demand is high and for what items and in what quantities. It is very unlikely that both stores somehow got surprised by unusually high demand. It is reasonable then to imagine that low stock levels in rural areas with few options is a purposed endeavor to assure that both the budget conscious and the folks in more remote areas are not fully able to load up their pantries. Simply put, I believe the major retailer in question is doing their part to limit the ability of rural America to be sufficiently prepared. Nevertheless, we are wise to do our best to keep ahead of the curve. God bless your efforts, Steve. So it says exports are plummeting all over the globe, and the Baltic Dry Index just plunged to another, after multiple record-breaking all-time lows, now a new all-time record low. Again, the Baltic Dry Index is, simply put, shipping across the world. The amount of stuff being shipped around by air, truck, and rail inside the country has been dropping significantly as well. And this tells us that real economic activity is really slowing down. So, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but news, realist news, is information, and information can make you make good or bad decisions based off that information. So, while part of your brain tells you, man, I wish I didn't know any of this, I don't want to hear any more of this, the other part of the brain should say, you know, I'm thankful for this information, because information is information. What you do with it is up to you. Having the right information in front of you is good. But, for example, bad information, there's just a mass shooter across the street, you don't know about it. You're not informed. You didn't hear about it. Wouldn't you like to know that bad piece of information so that I'm going to go out here and make a left like I used to? No. Making a right this time. There's a damn mass shooter over here. Bad information. I don't want to hear it. La, la, la. But it was good in the part that it was informative. This should just be informative to you. Take care.